architecture is not just about form or function. It shapes how we feel, how we heal, and how we connect. Some places lift us up with light, openness, and calm, while others press us down with noise, concrete, and confinement. When architecture prioritizes mental health, it can create cities that do more than just operate efficiently. They can heal, support, and inspire people who inhabit them.
With mental health becoming a growing challenge for many, I started to wonder, what role does architecture play in how we feel in day-to-day life?
I've noticed how different places can change how I feel. How one space can bring peace, and another can make me quite anxious. The need for spaces that nurture emotional well-being is more urgent than ever. Where we live, work, and spend our free time shapes us in ways that are often overlooked. I have chosen to focus my research on Coventry. Coventry is a city of contrast. With post-war modernist structures, a growing student population, and current regeneration project that aims to reveal the long-hidden River Sherborne. City's blend of history, renewal, and diversity makes it an ideal case study for how architecture affects mood and perception. I have conducted a survey with architecture students from Coventry University, as they represent a range of relationships with the city. The variety in their backgrounds provides a rich mix of perspectives, from fresh impressions to long-term reflections. This documentary aims to reveal how different areas and buildings across Coventry create either welcoming and uplifting experiences, or more stressful and alienating ones. A building may appear impressive in isolation, yet when placed within its urban context, it can feel disconnected or oppressive. I want to explore these relationships, show how the same environment can evoke different emotional responses depending on perspective and context. One of the first researchers to show that the spaces we build directly affect how we feel was Roger Ehrlich. His studies proved that architecture can do more than just shelter us. It can reduce stress, speed recovery, and improve well-being. Ehrlich argued that hospitals and public buildings shouldn't just focus on efficiency. They should also care for our psychological and emotional needs. He referred to this approach as supportive design. Supportive design rests on three simple but powerful ideas. First, give people a sense of control over their surroundings. Second, create spaces that encourage connection and social support. And third, bring in nature and positive distractions. Ehrlich discovered that even brief encounters with nature, like a light through a window, the sound of water, or a view of trees, can lower anxiety and help people heal faster. But when a space is filled with noise, chaos, or confinement, it creates tension, a kind of invisible pressure that wears us down. In other words, design can harm or heal. It's never neutral. In my documentary, these ideas help explain how Coventry's architecture influences the way people feel. Green, open spaces, like the cathedral gardens or the River Sherborne, bring calm and restoration, while the ring road and concrete underpasses carry a different energy, heavy, harsh, and enclosed. Ehrlich reminds us that architecture in itself can be a form of therapy. Next, I looked into environmental psychology by Dr. Daniel Stockels. Environmental psychology looks at how people and spaces continuously interact. Daniel Stockels described this relationship as a transaction, a constant exchange between our behavior and the environment around us. We don't just live inside architecture. It shapes us, and we shape it in return. When a space overwhelms us with noise, confinement, or visual chaos, it creates psychological stress. But when a space offers light, greenery, a sense of control, it restores balance and calm. Stockels called this alignment environmental congruence, when the space matches our needs and emotions. And when that fit is missing, we feel uneasy, disconnected, or out of place. Each of us carries a mental map of the city, shaped by memory, experience, and emotion. These emotional geographies reveal as much about the city as its physical materials or design. In Mood Flow, Stockels' ideas guide how I look at Coventry, how its spaces, streets, and the hidden River Sherborne affect not just how we move, but how we feel within the city. Kaplan's attention restoration theory. Rachel and Stephen Kaplan, both psychologists, came up with the attention restoration theory, ART, to show how spending time in nature helps our minds recharge when we're worn out. They noticed that daily life, especially in cities, constantly asks us to focus, make decisions, and pay attention to everything around us. Over time, this directed attention becomes drained, leading to stress, irritability, and mental exhaustion. The Kaplans discovered that nature restores this lost energy, not through effort, but through captivation. Watching sunlight on leaves, listening to water, or feeling the wind on your face gently engages the mind without pressure. They identified 4 qualities that make an environment restorative. 1. Being away, escaping mental and physical clutter. 2. Extent, feeling immersed in a larger, coherent space. 3. Fascination, effortless attention sparked by nature's patterns. And 4. Compatibility, when a space aligns with your needs and mood. In urban life, these qualities are often missing, replaced by noise and overstimulation. But even a small touches of nature, a park bench, a tree-lined street, or a river flowing through the city, can restore balance. For mood flow, Kaplan's theory helps explain why access to greenery and the River Sherborne can calm the mind. The flow of the river, the sound of water, and the presence of open green spaces can give people moments of being away within the city. Just as Stockholm and Ehrlich do, the Kaplans remind us that well-being is deeply tied to the environment, and the architecture and nature can either drain our attention or heal it. Coventry Cathedral is more than a building. It stands as a symbol of strength and healing. After the original St. Michael's was destroyed in the Blitz, architect Basil Spence made a radical choice: to keep the ruins beside the new cathedral. That contrast, old and new, broken and renewed, it's not just a memorial. It is architecture designed for remembrance and reconciliation. Visitors move through the ruins into the new building, making a physical and emotional journey, from destruction to hope. The modern cathedral's focus on light, texture, and atmosphere creates a calming sensory experience that supports psychological recovery. The site is both a place of memory and a living community space, carrying stories of loss, forgiveness, and resilience. Coventry Cathedral shows that architecture can heal, transforming a place of trauma into a lasting symbol of hope. I chose to focus my research on Coventry because I've lived here for just over 2 years. In that time, I've explored the city both as a student and as a resident, studying its spaces closely and experiencing how they influence my own mood and daily life. That's where the title Mood Flow comes from. The idea that a city has emotional currents you can feel as you move through it. Choosing to explore Coventry for film changed the way I experienced the city. It pushed me to walk through places I have never paid attention to before, to slow down, to observe, to feel. There were moments when the city felt calm and open, when I felt safe and able to breathe. And then there were streets where my body reacted before my mind did. Places that felt overwhelming, crowded, or unsafe, even when the buildings themselves looked inviting. Filming made me notice contrasts I have never seen before, how the atmosphere of the street can shift suddenly, how a nice building can sit within space that still feels tense, and how busy Coventry can feel even on an ordinary weekday. These walks became part of the research, not just recording the city, but experiencing it. Coventry is a city rebuilt from destruction. Architecture here carries both trauma and hope. After the Blitz, the city was redesigned with post-war optimism, a modern, efficient new city, built around progress and movement. However, the car-centered ring road and concrete-heavy design created spaces that often feel enclosed, disconnected, and overwhelming. Yet fragments of the old city still survive. The medieval lanes, the market cross, the cathedral ruins, remind us of memory and intimacy within the modern landscape. Today, Coventry is changing again. searching for balance between the machine, the human, the built environment, and the natural world. The opening of the River Sherborne reflects this shift, bringing hidden nature back into the city, restoring calm, light, and flow. Coventry becomes a lens for understanding larger architectural questions. 1. How do we rebuild after trauma? And 2. How do we design cities that heal? In Moodflow, Coventry is both subject and symbol, a city caught between pressure and renewal, between the past and the future, still unfolding. After exploring Coventry through my own lens, I wanted to understand how others experience the city. So I asked architecture students, people who study space, who read buildings the way others read books, to describe how Coventry makes them feel. Their responses reveal an emotional map of the city, drawn not in lines or elevations, but in mood, memory, and atmosphere. When I asked architecture students to describe Coventry's built environment, the responses revealed a striking emotional pattern. The most frequent words were grey, dull, and boring. Many described the city as chaotic, inconsistent, or a collage of harsh elements. Some said Coventry feels like a band-aid on past wounds, a city full of contrast, but lacking flow. When asked which places feel calm or inspiring, almost everyone named green spaces. The cathedral grounds, War Memorial Park, the canal paths, and the quiet pockets of campus. In contrast, the most stressful places were the Ring Road, Fairfax Street, Spawn End, and areas around the bus station and the Transport Museum. Students linked these spaces to noise, enclosure, unsafe feelings, and what one person called concrete pressure. The hidden River Sherborne was described as a missed opportunity, a waste of beauty, and upsetting. Many felt it should be brought back to the surface, not just for aesthetics, but because nature brings life back into the city and restores calm. Almost every student said mental well-being must be a part of design education. They spoke about light, nature, openness, colour, and safety as the qualities that shape how people feel. And when asked to sum up Coventry's mood in one sentence, the answers ranged from gloomy and depressed to a dull city with hidden gems, and finally, a place with potential. These survey voices shaped the way I filmed Coventry, not just as a physical city, but as an emotional landscape felt differently by everyone who moves through it. So after all this research, all these walks, all these conversations, I came back to the question that started Moodflow. Does architecture affect our mental health? The answer is yes. Not softly, but deeply, constantly, and often without us even realizing. Coventry showed me this. It's a city of contradictions, heavy with concrete and fragmentation, yet holding pockets of calm when nature breaks through. A place where the atmosphere can shift in a single street, from openness to tension, from comfort to unease. Students echoed this in their responses. They seek refuge in green spaces because the city's harder edges create emotional strain. They feel the pressure of noise, enclosure, and disconnection. But they also recognize the power of places like the cathedral, the parks, and the quiet corners where the city softens. Almost everyone believes the River Sherborne should return, not just as water, but as a symbol of life, connection, and flow. A reminder that nature has the power to restore what concrete suppresses. And throughout this project, one message became impossible to ignore. Architecture must care for mental well-being. Good design listens, good design remembers, and good design heals. Living and studying in Coventry hasn't only shaped how students design, it taught us what a city should be, and what it should never become. Moodflow is not just about Coventry, it's about every place we build, every space we enter, every environment we choose to create. Because architecture is not neutral, it shapes us, our mood, our behaviour, our sense of belonging. And if we design with empathy, light, and nature at the heart of our decisions, we can create cities that don't just function, but cities that can help us feel, connect, and heal.